It was a Friday afternoon, and they had been driving for 2 hours since leaving New York. With 1 more hour of driving ahead, Nancy glanced at her husband, Bill, who was at the wheel of his Ford Transit. They couldn't take her BMW 230i convertible because they needed to transport Lisa's belongings. Time flies, Nancy thought, reflecting on how it all began on her high school graduation day when she found out she was pregnant. Bill was still in university, studying to become an engineer. Both sets of parents were supportive, knowing their children were in love. After Lisa was born, Nancy stayed with her parents until Bill completed his studies, and they married soon after. Nancy became a stay-at-home mom, witnessing Bill's journey from a junior engineer to a successful HVAC business owner over the past decade. His hard work had paid off, securing contracts with major construction companies. "The house will feel empty without her," Bill said, his voice tinged with sadness. "She's always been closer to you," Nancy observed. "She's been Daddy's little girl." "She's our princess," Bill remarked. "We should treat her as such." "But have you noticed her behavior lately?" Nancy expressed concern. "She's been treating me poorly. When you're home, she's always with you. And when you're not, she shuts herself in her room, avoiding me." "Nancy, she's still a child," Bill countered. "She was under a lot of pressure during her senior year. She wanted to excel academically to fulfill her dream of attending Columbia University. Try to understand." "I do, Bill, but have you seen how she acts when we're together?" Nancy recalled a disturbing incident. "Remember when she came at me with a knife 2 months ago? I feared for my safety." There was hatred in her eyes. "You're imagining things," Bill dismissed Nancy's concerns, growing irritated. Choosing not to escalate the argument, Nancy checked her phone and sent a message saying they'd arrive in 30 minutes. When her phone beeped, Bill asked if it was from Lisa. "No, it's from Betty," Nancy replied, avoiding discussing Lisa's relationship. "And how's Betty doing with Paul?" Bill inquired. "She seemed unhappy at our last barbecue, complaining about his long hours as a sheriff. She should understand the demands of his job." Nancy stayed silent, hoping to keep the peace until they reached home. As Bill pulled into the driveway, they noticed a sheriff's car parked in front of the garage. Bill parked behind it, and Paul and his assistant greeted them. "What's happening?" Bill asked Paul, confusion evident in his voice. Nancy instinctively stood behind Paul's assistant, avoiding eye contact with her husband. Bill's frown deepened. "This is the part of my job I hate the most," the sheriff began solemnly, handing Bill a manila envelope. "William Thompson, you've been served." "Paul, is this some kind of joke?" Bill's hand trembled as he took the envelope. He turned to Nancy, searching for answers. "Why, Nancy? What have I done?" "Bill, it's better if you leave," Paul interjected. "Consult a lawyer about your divorce. There's also a restraining order. You're not permitted to be within 500 feet of Nancy." "Paul, last Sunday you and Betty were here for Lisa's going-away barbecue. You knew what was going on. You came, ate, wished Lisa well, and left with smiles on your faces. That's hypocrisy," Bill accused. "Bill, try to understand," Paul began. "To understand what, Paul? That you're a jerk?" Bill's voice rose in anger. He turned to Nancy, his eyes burning with betrayal. "And you stabbed me in the back. If you didn't love me anymore, you should have told me. We could have parted ways amicably." "Bill, the restraining order is in effect." "I suggest you leave," Paul urged, trying to maintain composure. Bill stormed to his van, tossing the envelope onto the passenger seat before slamming the door shut. He marched back to Paul. "I need my personal belongings. I hope you're not too much of a jerk to deny me entry to my house." Paul handed his assistant a set of keys. "Your key won't work," he informed Bill. "I see you've taken care of everything, or was it Betty's doing? She probably had a locksmith change the locks while we were away, didn't she?" Bill retorted. Paul remained silent, gesturing for his assistant to accompany Bill inside. "Don't worry," Paul reassured Nancy. "I'll have my men patrol the area regularly. I wouldn't leave the house unattended for a few days if I were you. Bill is furious, and anger can drive people to do unpredictable things. I'll stay home. I'll call a friend to come spend the weekend, Nancy replied. Yes, a friend, Paul muttered. As Bill emerged with his suitcases, the assistant handed Nancy the keys. Bill retrieved the divorce documents from the envelope and began to read. Bill, you've got your things. It's time to go, Paul ordered. Wait. This woman is asking for half of my business, our savings, the house, her car, and monthly alimony. She's cleaning me out, Bill exclaimed. Bill, if you don't leave, I'll have to arrest you, Paul warned, reaching for handcuffs. No need, Paul. I'll sign the papers and disappear, Bill declared, grabbing a pen and signing where indicated. Can you attest to this and give me my copy? Nancy, Paul, and his assistant stood there in disbelief. They never expected Bill to agree to the terms so easily. Nancy couldn't help but smile, feeling fortunate to have gotten everything she wanted and to be free from both her husband and daughter. Paul signed the papers as a witness and handed Bill his copy before he climbed into his van. Who is he? How long have you been with him? Bill's words cut through the tense atmosphere, directed at Nancy. Go inside and lock the door behind you, Paul instructed Nancy, then approached Bill's van. The assistant followed Nancy inside. Don't do anything rash. Think about Lisa, Paul urged. I've already done something foolish by marrying this woman, Bill shouted as he started the engine. She chose divorce because she knew I'd never agree to an open marriage, like you. What? Open marriage? Paul was bewildered. Don't play dumb, Paul. It's common knowledge, Bill retorted. What are you talking about? Paul's voice rose in frustration. Listen, Paul, everyone knows that when you're on night duty, your brother Tom is keeping your bed warm, Bill stated matter-of-factly. Are you trying to turn me against my own brother, you jerk? Paul exclaimed. Oh, damn. She's cheating on you. Bill revealed. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. As a sheriff, you should be able to tell when someone's lying. Go home and ask Betty. Then you'll see. Bill reversed and left the property as instructed. Once alone, Nancy poured herself a glass of wine and stood before Pagnol's masterpiece, the train station. The painting, worth a small fortune, now belonged to her. He left it here, his loss, she mused with a wicked smile. She dialed Jason's number impatiently. Come on, Jason, pick up. Nancy shouted at her phone before hanging up. He was supposed to come straight here after work, she muttered to herself. She sat down and sipped her wine, reminiscing about their first encounter a year ago. Their passionate rendezvous had left her breathless and longing for more. She knew then that her husband could never match Jason's vigor and enthusiasm. Bill was always preoccupied with his business, leaving little time for their relationship. She finished her wine and poured herself another glass, trying Jason's number again, only to be met with an unavailable message. Frustrated, she threw her phone on the couch and turned on the TV, unable to focus. Deciding to take a shower, she recalled the previous week's steamy encounter with Jason, realizing that he fulfilled desires her husband never could. With a spare key to his apartment, she could visit him whenever she pleased, indulging in their secret affair without restraint. Oh God, I need him between my legs right now. I'm as horny as hell. I need him to pleasure me, Nancy murmured to herself. She tried to recollect the last time she'd been intimate with Bill but couldn't remember. Was it 3 months ago? 6? Or even longer? It didn't matter anymore. She had her young lover, a real man who could satisfy her. They were finally going to be together without any fear. She felt liberated, knowing he would move in with her that evening. After her shower, she returned to the living room, grabbed her cell phone, and cursed again. Where are you, Jason? Why won't you answer the damn phone? She headed to the kitchen and prepared herself a light dinner. Damn it! I can't leave the house, or else I would have driven to his place. Then something on the TV caught her attention. She rushed back to the living room and turned up the volume. She watched in horror as Paul, handcuffed, was escorted to a police car. Sheriff Paul Anderson shot his wife in the head and then drove to his brother's workplace, where he shot him 5 times. Both the wife and the brother are dead, the anchorman reported. Nancy switched off the TV and sat down, stunned. "Oh, Betty, I warned you to be careful," she cried. That night, Nancy couldn't sleep at all. For the first time, she felt utterly alone. She had kicked out her husband, her lover was unreachable, her best friend was dead, her daughter was avoiding her, and her parents were no longer alive. The only one left was her sister, who lived with her husband Tom in a city 300 miles away. Saturday passed, and Nancy still couldn't reach Jason. She was both anxious and irritated. He could at least leave a message to let me know what's going on, she thought repeatedly. On Sunday morning, she decided to drive to Jason's apartment. As soon as she entered, she sensed that something was amiss. The pictures on the wall and all the electronic devices were gone. His walk-in closet was empty, and there was no sign of his personal belongings in the bathroom. She collapsed onto the bed. "He's gone. He left me without a word." Nancy sobbed. "How could he do this to me? It was his idea to divorce Bill and move in with me, to get married after the divorce was finalized." She left the apartment and drove to the department store, hoping to find Jason at work. She spoke to one of his colleagues, who informed her that Jason had asked for permission to return home half an hour after arriving for work on Friday morning, claiming he had forgotten his wallet. He never returned, and later that day, he sent a resignation email to the boss. A shattered Nancy made her way back to her car. "Why? Why did he do this to me?" she cried. On her way home, she stopped at a gas station, where she was shocked to find that both her credit and debit cards were declined. She cursed as she had to pay with the cash she had in her purse. At home, she drowned her sorrows in alcohol. On Monday morning, she visited the bank and met with the manager. She was taken aback when she learned that there was less than $5 in her joint account. "Mrs. Thompson, last Friday, your husband came to the bank and closed your joint credit card. He also reminded us that you are divorcing him and that he will no longer be responsible for the mortgage on the house or your car." "That's a mistake. My car was fully paid for, and the mortgage on the house should have been settled," Nancy said, astonished. "The bank has granted a car loan, Mrs. Thompson, and we have all the paperwork. Additionally, your husband took out a second mortgage on the house for your daughter's university fees and expenses." "But why is there no money in my account?" Nancy inquired. "Last week, your account was debited to settle your monthly mortgage installment. For the past 3 months, there have been no deposits. Whatever money was there has been depleted." "What about my husband's business? Aren't there supposed to be monthly transfers from the company's account?" "Unfortunately, Mrs. Thompson, I cannot disclose Mr. Thompson's account or his business dealings with you. However, I can tell you that if the upcoming mortgage payments are not made, your house and car will be repossessed." "But I don't have a job." "I suggest you discuss these matters with your lawyer." Later, Nancy checked the safe deposit box she shared with her husband, finding only her jewelry inside. She took all of it and placed it in her handbag. Exiting the bank, she immediately called Bill on his cell phone, but received an out-of-service message. Perplexed, she tried calling Bill at work, but the phone rang continuously. Frustrated, she speed-dialed Lisa's number. "What do you want, bitch?" Lisa's angry voice came through the phone. "Is this how you speak to your mother, Lisa?" Nancy responded, taken aback. "How do you expect me to talk to you, whore?" I just want to talk to your father," Nancy stammered. "I can't reach him on the phone. Do you know where he is or how I can reach him?" "I know, but I won't tell you, bitch. The way you dumped him, cold-hearted, makes you the worst slut walking this earth. I don't want anything to do with you. I don't consider myself your daughter anymore. Don't call me again. Better yet, I'll change my number." The call abruptly ended. Shocked, Nancy sat in her car, gripping the steering wheel. Her mind raced as she tried to understand where her plan had gone wrong and why Jason had left without a word. She immediately called her lawyer and managed to secure an appointment for late afternoon. Mrs. Thompson, after your phone call this morning, we conducted some searches on your husband's company, her lawyer informed her. Last Thursday, he declared bankruptcy before being served by you. The company is likely to be liquidated. But you said I could potentially receive millions last time. Nancy almost shouted. Please, Mrs. Thompson, remain calm. 2 weeks ago, there were no signs of financial difficulties. Everything seemed to be in your favor. Now, the company's bank account is frozen. What about the car and the house mortgage? Nancy inquired. Last week, he used your house as collateral for a loan, again, before being served. And for the car, when you signed the ownership document, you also signed for a loan under your name, her lawyer explained. All of this can't be true, Nancy wept. Mrs. Thompson, I have a personal question. Do you think your husband knew about being served? The lawyer asked. No, Nancy replied, looking thoughtful. He never saw it coming. She took a deep breath. So, from what I understand, I won't get a cent from my husband's company, I have no money in the bank, and my car and house will be repossessed. I fear it. Is there any way to make him pay the mortgage at least? Nancy asked. The company was his sole income. Without it, he's broke. Once he starts working, we can have him pay you an alimony, the lawyer suggested. We had a few investment certificates which I could not find in our safe deposit box, Nancy mentioned. We can inquire when he has cashed these certificates and also make a thorough investigation of his company. And we will have to look for your husband. We don't know where he is. His legal advisor is handling everything, the lawyer informed. Please go ahead. One thing, Mrs. Thompson, all these will incur additional fees. How will you settle the bill? The lawyer inquired. Nancy hadn't thought about all the expenses, then suddenly she smiled. I have a painting which is worth some money. Good. Get the money and write us a check so that we can get started on the job, the lawyer suggested. No problem, I'll give you a call soon. One last thing, Mrs. Thompson. Worst case scenario, you should prepare yourself to vacate your house. I advise you start looking for a place to stay, the lawyer advised. At home, she sat in front of Pagnol's masterpiece. I sincerely wanted to keep you, but because of this asshole of a husband, we will have to part ways, she addressed the painting. She then took out her cell phone and called her sister. Hi sis, I have a favor to ask, Nancy began. You know I have never refused you anything, Nancy, her sister replied. Bill and I are getting divorced. What? Is this some kind of joke? Her sister exclaimed. No sis, it's complicated. Temporarily I will need a place to stay. I was thinking if you can be kind enough to let me stay in your guest room. I will explain everything when we meet, Nancy explained. How about Lisa? How did she take it? Her sister inquired. You know she is her father's girl. I am the bad guy, Nancy sighed. Is there any way both of you can work it out? See a counselor, for example, her sister suggested. I don't think so. I am really sorry. There is no problem with me, I don't think Tom will say no, and our daughter will be excited to have you with us for a bit, her sister reassured. Thank you, sis. I will let you know when I'm coming, Nancy said before hanging up. On Tuesday, Nancy went to a goldsmith to get her jewelry evaluated. To her great astonishment, she was told that all her items were gold-plated copper and cheap. She cursed Bill for giving her fake gifts. She then rushed to a fine art gallery where she met an appraiser. I'd like to know the value of my Pagnol's The Train Station, Nancy inquired. The man examined the painting meticulously. The train station is Pagnol's masterpiece. It captures a myriad of emotions, arrivals, departures, happiness, and sadness all intertwined. He positioned the painting on an easel, illuminating it with a spotlight. Taking a magnifying glass, he scrutinized it closely. After a moment, he chuckled. Is something the matter? Nancy asked, puzzled. Wait, let me show you something. The man fetched his laptop, displaying an image of the train station on the screen. Zooming in on the bottom left corner, he pointed out a man and a little girl watching a woman board a train, appearing sad. "I see," Nancy said. "But what's the significance?" "Now, compare it to your painting," the man urged, handing Nancy the magnifying glass. Examining the bottom left corner, Nancy nearly gasped. "In yours, they're laughing and pointing at the woman, mocking her," the man revealed. It's a fake," Nancy realized. "Yes, I'm afraid so. But a convincing one." Nancy accepted the offer of $200, feeling defeated as she left. Her phone rang, her sister calling. "Hi, sis," Nancy greeted, masking her distress. "Don't call me sis, you bitch," her sister's voice spat. "Why? What's wrong?" "Tom got an email with links to explicit videos of you with another man." "We're done with you," her sister declared. Realizing her secret was out, Nancy panicked, feeling exposed and rejected. "Everyone knows," she murmured. "I have to leave." 5 years later, Bill sat in the church, reflecting on the call he'd received that morning. He just walked his daughter down the aisle, unaware of the turmoil brewing. "Dad, please come home," Lisa had sobbed. "What's wrong?" Bill had asked, concerned. "Please just come," Lisa pleaded. "I'm on my way," Bill had assured her, clueless about the storm awaiting him at home. As Bill drove, he felt a growing unease. Why wasn't his daughter at school? And why was she waiting outside instead of inside? These questions raced through his mind until he suddenly slammed on the brakes, urging himself to stay calm. He remembered working with Lisa on a project late into the previous night, saving it on a USB drive. Lisa got into the car, visibly upset. "Please, let's not go home," she pleaded. "Okay, Lisa, what's wrong?" Bill turned off the engine. "I forgot my USB drive this morning. When I came back to get it, I found a strange car in the driveway. I heard noises from your room, Dad. I peeked inside and saw Mom with another man," Lisa tearfully explained. Bill comforted her, urging her to take her time. "Are you sure about what you saw?" "I saw them," she replied, her voice trembling. Bill sat there in shock, trying to process the situation. "We need to address this," he finally said, turning to face her. "Okay, sweetheart, inhale," Bill said in a soothing voice. He stroked her back. "Take your time." "I saw a man in between Mom's legs. They were both naked." "She's cheating on you," Lisa sobbed. Bill sat there in shock. "Are you sure of what you've seen?" He turned to face her. "I recorded it on my phone." She took out her cell phone and played it for her father. Bill's world stopped suddenly when he heard Nancy moaning. "Get her out of the house, Dad. I don't want to see her anymore. She's not my mom. My mother would never do such things. I will have to think about it." "What do you need to think about?" "Just kick her out." "It's not that easy, sweetie. There are legal procedures to follow." "Tell me, Dad, do you still want to stay with her? Do you still want to sleep with her?" "I don't condone cheating. But we will need to know why she did it, if it's a one-time affair or has she been doing it a long time or if she'll continue with it." "Here he is." Lisa pointed to the Honda leaving the driveway, turning away from them. They followed the Honda to the store. They found the guy putting his uniform jacket on while leaving his car in the parking lot and walked towards the employee's entrance. "He works here. He's young," Bill said. "Young or not, I don't care," Lisa replied. "We already know one thing. So, sweetie, I will drop you at school. I'll drive home, pick up your flash drive and bring it to you. I'll tell your mom." "She's not my MOM," Lisa shouted at her father. "I'll tell Nancy that you called me and asked to bring it to you. I don't want you to face her alone. Not now or any time. Do you understand?" "I understand, but why?" "For the simple reason that I don't want her to know that we know. I don't want you through your anger to spill the beans." "What are you going to do?" "I want to know everything that you are doing." I want you to keep me in the loop. Promise? I'm going to wire our home. And yes, Princess, I promise to keep you in the loop. I love you, Dad. Lisa hugged Bill. Love you too. Now take me to school and bring the USB quickly as my class will start soon. Bill parked in his driveway and walked into the house. Honey, I'm home. Nancy rushed out of the bedroom with shock on her face. Oh, Bill, it's you. Who did you want it to be? He looked at Nancy straight in the eyes. I didn't expect you at this hour. Lisa called. She forgot her flash drive. I need to bring it to her. He approached Nancy and could smell sex on her. Do we have time for a quickie? Quickie? It's that I'm a bit tired from cleaning the house and I'm very sweaty. You won't like it. And you need to bring Lisa her USB. You're right. At work, Bill surfed the internet for the best video and audio surveillance device and cell phone spy software. Later, he drove to an electronics shop and bought whatever he needed. One main decision he made, he would never touch his wife from that day forward. As promised, he would share everything with Lisa. During the next 3 months, he learned a lot. He knew everything on Nancy's lover, Jason White. Jason came to his place almost every day, either in the morning when he was on the second shift or during his lunchtime. On weekends, when Nancy was supposed to go shopping, she would drop by his apartment if he was not working. She also had a spare key. Bill came to know that she was buying lots of things for Jason. He watched as Jason took her anal cherry. He also listened to a conversation between Nancy and her best friend Betty, where they shared all their secrets. It was how he was aware that Betty was sleeping with her brother-in-law. One Saturday, Bill searched in Nancy's handbag and found the key hidden at the bottom. He quickly drove to the mall and had a duplicate key cut. The following week, he visited Jason's apartment. It was an old building in a notorious part of the town. The place was so cheap that there was no security camera and the main entrance of the building was not even locked. In the apartment, he placed some tiny hidden spy cams, powered by small long-life lithium button cells. He also searched everywhere and found all the expensive things Nancy had bought. Bill began strategizing how to exit his relationship with Nancy while causing significant harm to both her and her lover. He arranged for replicas of Nancy's jewelry to be made by a goldsmith using gold-plated copper and had a fake painting commissioned with specific instructions. Seeking legal advice, he reached out to his childhood friend Steve, a corporate lawyer, who then introduced him to Linda, an expert auditor. In their meeting, Bill was candid about his intention to legally dismantle his company and maintain control remotely, with plans for Lisa to repurchase it in the future. As he spent time with Linda, a friendship blossomed between them, marked by shared experiences and mutual understanding. Despite the attraction, they acknowledged the complexities of their situation and proceeded with caution. Meanwhile, Bill persuaded Nancy to trade in her Lexus for a BMW convertible, convincing her it would make her appear younger. He sold the Lexus and used the proceeds as a down payment for the BMW, arranging the paperwork under Nancy's name. Unbeknownst to her, she signed additional documents during the process. A few weeks later, Bill observed concerning behavior from Nancy's lover, Jason, who would sneak into Lisa's room after intimate encounters with Nancy. Alarmed, they decided to install a camera in Lisa's room, revealing Jason's disturbing actions of taking and using Lisa's underwear. The same afternoon, while Nancy was sitting on the couch, Lisa came behind her with a knife. Had Bill not intervened at that moment, Lisa would have hurt or even killed Nancy. Later in the evening, Lisa told her father that she would not have been imprisoned had she killed Nancy, because she was still a minor. Bill wasn't taken aback when he overheard Jason convincing Nancy to divorce him and take him for everything he had. But what the couple didn't realize was that Bill was already steps ahead. Aware that Nancy frequently let Jason drive the BMW and engage in intimate activities in the back seat, he anticipated their moves. He knew when Nancy consulted a divorce lawyer, recommended by Paul, and was well informed about the lawyer's investigation into his assets. Waiting a few days, Bill secured a second mortgage on his house to fully fund Lisa's education. The next day, he filed for bankruptcy, predicting that Betty would change the locks on their house when they were away in New York. During the weekend barbecue before Lisa's departure, Bill and his daughter maintained their facade, playing their roles while Paul and Betty remained unsuspecting. Paul even assisted with the grilling, concealing their betrayal. On Friday morning, while Nancy was occupied in the bathroom, Bill seized her phone and crafted a deceitful text to Jason, arranging a meeting under false pretenses. Deleting the message afterward, he returned the phone to Nancy's bag. Unbeknownst to Jason, Bill orchestrated a scheme where 3 men would ambush him upon his arrival, coercing his resignation and disappearance without a trace. Concealing the truth from Lisa and Linda, Bill ensured his involvement remained clandestine. After being served later that afternoon, Bill retreated to a motel, amused by the news coverage. Meeting with one of the men involved in Jason's disappearance, he exchanged final payments for the surveillance footage. Without divulging Jason's fate, Bill acquired a new phone and contacted Lisa, then proceeded to Linda's residence. There, he collaborated with her on the final phase of their plan, involving the sale of the company to Linda's relatives from Seattle, ensuring job security for all employees. On Monday, Lisa called to inform Bill that Nancy was searching for him, prompting shared laughter between them. Later, he uploaded all the incriminating videos to a pornographic website and sent the link anonymously to everyone they knew, even Nancy's brother-in-law. He remained at Linda's residence for the following 3 months until his divorce proceedings concluded. Although he and Linda continued to date, they refrained from any sexual involvement, as Linda insisted that Bill respect his marital vows until the divorce was finalized. This arrangement also served as a cover for Bill, who could claim he was financially destitute and staying with Linda temporarily if any investigation arose. During the divorce hearing, Nancy was notably absent, and due to the repossession of their assets and Bill's financial circumstances, the judge granted a divorce without alimony or asset division, uncontested by Nancy's lawyer. Later, in a chance encounter in the hallway, Nancy's lawyer acknowledged Bill's strategic maneuvering. Returning to the present moment, Bill's daughter reminded him of their dance together at the wedding reception. Bill then danced with his ex-wife, followed by his daughter's brother and Linda. As the evening progressed, Bill retreated to the bar, his thoughts drawn back to a phone call he received at home. The call was from Dr. Henry DeSouza, a psychologist treating Nancy Thompson in her final days. Bill, initially confused, learned of Nancy's terminal condition and agreed to hear more about her situation. "Your ex-wife has shared her life story with me, from childhood to our encounter. She mentioned you were her only partner until Jason came along, a regrettable mistake she later realized. She believes you were aware of the affair and orchestrated her downfall. She accepts her fate, acknowledging her wrongs towards you, and left town with little money. Landing in Texas, she worked as a waitress in a dingy bar, enduring exploitation from the owner in exchange for lodging. Eventually, she fell into a cycle of abuse and prostitution, leading to severe health issues including AIDS. Now, she wishes to see you before she passes. Doctor, I'm deeply saddened to hear about her situation. My daughter's wedding is today. I'll contact you next week. Don't delay too long, Mr. Thompson. Here's my direct line. Honey, take it easy on the drinks. You'll be driving us home later." Linda embraced her husband. "You're everything to me, darling." Bill pushed his glass away. "I won't jeopardize our safety. Let's dance." "I want to feel you close," Linda whispered. Days later, Bill called Dr. DeSouza, unable to visit due to work. The doctor suggested a phone call, transferring it to Nancy's ward. "Bill? Is that you?" Nancy's voice trembled. "Yes, Nancy, it's me." "Oh, Bill." Nancy broke down. "I'm so sorry for everything. I've forgiven you, Nancy. I've moved on and found happiness." "I'm glad," Nancy sobbed. "I'm truly glad." Bill heard commotion, then a nurse's voice. "Mr. Thompson, I have to end the call." Bill looked at his family photo, a smile tugging at his lips. "The last laugh is the sweetest," he mused. Write your opinion in the comments. Thanks for watching and have a great day.